I see it. Right. Those massive what? Makes you a what? We got a video from Mr. Jakes. 1, 2, 3. Reinhard, Violet, Regulus. Let's get the episode 9 analysis.
ReZero is back.
Louder. Louder.
ReZero is back, and
Yeah.
once again we are introduced to the peak of anime. Now, the opening of the episode was quite interesting for all of us, because if you're a big ReZero fan and you've watched my videos before, you would have known that I believe that this scene that you're seeing on screen would be censored, because this is quite, out there for ReZero.
I mean, it pretty much did get censored, right? Well, what do I mean by censored? Not showing the nipples? I mean, it's just her jugs are just on display. You get to see her booty cheeks. It could have been way more Gooner content if they wanted to.
There's a lot of fan service, there's a lot of boobs jiggling around, and so everyone, and myself included, believed that this scene would be censored, considering other characters such as Liliana was censored, and so was Capella. But I guess because Priscilla is obviously quite busty, that's the reason why.
That's right, she is the canonically lore accurate, author stated, she's the most thick. She is the thickest girl in ReZero, and it's not even close. Well, I can't say that, but she is the thickest.
It was not touched at all. I actually think it's a good thing, because it means that ReZero won't really be censored when it comes to sexual content, unless it involves lolly-type characters. But this scene was quite interesting, by the way.
Imagine the Blu-ray DVD releases or something that gives this uncensored. Nah, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do that.
Because Priscilla is suspicious of Anastasia. You'll notice that she doesn't call Anastasia by her name, but instead calls her by
Vixen.
a sort of nickname called She-Fox, whatever that means. Something to keep in mind.
She-Fox. Vixen. What does that mean? It's just a way to call her a ruthless businesswoman, right? To keep her own self-interest at bay while keeping everyone else in the dark regarding her secrets that she has, right? Clearly Priscilla was hinting and nudging that, like, you knew this was gonna happen, and you got another card up your sleeve, don't you? You have something that you're not telling us right now. There was also I'm not sure how accurate this is, but I remember one of these ReZero content creators saying that in the Subaru speech episode, right, in part 1 of season 3, there was something Anastasia said that hinted that she is still hiding something else. So Anastasia, bro, she a vixen. Unless this is just actually confirming that she is a fox. Like furry. Like Ricardo. That like she's hiding a tail, which I don't think is the case.
And of course, Aldebaran is being used in exchange. We also see the reveal of Theresia Van Astria. And by the way, I just want to say the fights are amazing. Even the sort of animated sequences when Garfield looks over to Elsa, the sort of vibe, the sort of filters being used is amazing.
Yeah, that like highlight green, basically to tell like he's delusional, right? When Elsa faces in and she's just looking from the side saying, come on, I know you want my power, just ask for it.
Keep in mind, by the way, Garfield is one of the strongest people in the series, and he's absolutely getting bodied.
Meaning Kurgan is that much stronger. Because bro was like what? One of the strongest in Wallachia back in the day, right?
But we talk about suffering quite a lot in ReZero. We always say, oh, Subaru suffers a lot. You should see Wilhelm. This guy gets absolutely bodied. His wife gets killed. His son's a drunkard. He has no relationship with his grandson. So it's not only Subaru that has the bad short straw, if you know what.
Yeah. Wilhelm, the more you think about it, bro, he's a sad person, man. Like, at an outward glance, he might seem like such a perfect person that retired at the height of his career and is just like a goated character. But if you really look into all the drama he's involved in, it's sad. The Astrias and their family drama, bro, it's so fucking sad. And I just feel like Wilhelm is the perfect character to die this arc, along with Theresia. Maybe both of them will go out stabbing each other, and he'll finally say, I love you, to her face, even though she's not really all there, and they can both get closure or something. And this also kind of ties into Wilhelm and Reinhard, their lack of grandfather-grandson relationship, and how it would be very sad for Reinhard to, have grandfather pass away without really getting that closure. Maybe Reinhard will be there to, have some parting last words and get closure for that. But like, he just feels like the perfect character to die right now if anybody would die.
What I mean, same with Garfield when you think about it. Like, it's his actions why Mimi got slashed. His mother was, essentially,
memory wiped,
sexually assaulted. There's a lot of bad stuff that's happening in ReZero when it comes to the characters.
Yes.
But let's talk about the meat and potatoes. Of course, saving Emilia.
Now, fight?
Am I the only one that was kind of shocked that Emilia was just standing there? Like, Emilia freezes Regulus. He doesn't really react. And she just stands there and gets captured for no reason. It's like, hey, can you run away, please? Like, why are you standing there and doing nothing?
I feel like that's one of the things that is the fault of the medium of anime. Because while there's a lot of dialogue happening in the anime, because we're yapping the entire time, it feels like she's just standing there. You know what I mean? I feel like there's a lot of times when there's so much dialogue covered in the light novels that things doesn't happen that slowly as it seems in the anime, and therefore it looks like, why are you just waiting for him to like charge that move up? Why are you just waiting for this guy to do one thing or something else, Or the other is, he's just that scary. Regulus is that scary and Emilia's just kind of stunned, but I feel like it's a mix of both.
And then Reinhard has to get penetrated so that Emilia can be saved. Like, I literally don't understand it. Of course, Reinhard has the divine blessing of the Phoenix, so he can keep resurrecting as many times as possible. But I don't understand why Emilia was just, I guess, brain dead. Like, run away.
I don't know, bro. Ask Tappy about that.
Hey, maybe. Like Emilia is really fast. Like, she moved, she pulled out her little ice sword, stuck it at Regulus's neck. And when he broke free, she's just, like, watching him. And I mean, I didn't really understand what was happening there. We have the blurriest image here, but is Reinhard kicking Sirius?
Okay.
And this is actually Reinhard's special attack. I'm not sure.
We got to see him kicking Regulus the same way too, I think. I thought it was just like a regular kick.
Sure if you've noticed, but Reinhard loves kicking people. He's literally spamming the same move over and over again. He just kicks you down, kicks you up.
That's right, he got these kicks, and then he uses his hands, and they're basically blades itself, and sometimes he can send like projectile like air attacks by just sheer force of his limbs.
Kicks you to the side. He's literally that guy when you play.
What happens if he swings his dick? Could he do the same thing with his third leg?
A fighting game with a brother or a friend that keeps spamming the same exact attack. And the thing is, it works. I like the interactions between Subaru and Emilia.
Every time I see Subaru's hand, a part of me is a bit disgusted and triggered. It just looks so grotesque. The color, it's like the rotting color plus these lines that just like gives me just like the shudders every time.
Subaru and Emilia, but again, the fight was the best thing ever. Regulus just pops up and Reinhard's like, not today, and just knocks him to the wall. Reinhard.
And the comedic timing of the attacks too. The way Regulus is like, I'll just keep fighting. Here we go. Fuck him.
Appears behind Regulus and spam kicks him again. Just watch the clip. Literally, he just teleports behind Regulus and just kicks him in the arse. It's like Reinhard cannot be stopped. He just gets violated over and over again. Like, just pause for a second. Imagine you're talking mad shit and your opponent literally backshots you. And then not only that, you start doing backflips in the air and your face looks like this. Like, you've just absolutely been violated. So yeah. I'm not sure how Regulus has any, like, pride. Like, how can he even talk after getting absolutely humiliated?
He does seem a little bit, like, shocked of, like, what the hell are you? What in the fuck are you, bro? He does seem very baffled about it. If he actually took damage, then maybe it'd be a lot more humiliating. But the fact that Regulus still just comes out clean, even his clothes, right?
Like this. Another huge section was Otto with Liebat and Kaitos. Now, the thing to really take into account here is that Otto is weak, right? But you can see he's still pressing forward. He always has a game plan. He always has tricks in his sleeve. He doesn't sort of back away. Yes, he's sort of cowardly, but Otto is a dangerous person. He's very tactical. There was also a section which was quite interesting, which was Liebat and Kaitos not liking Otto because he was a...
He's a merchant. And I was thinking about this more recently. The dialogue was, oh, you're a fucking merchant. You don't care about the humanity. You're not genuine. You just care about the best bargain deal. Fuck you. And we just chalked it up saying, haha, Lai must have gotten scammed in the past. But now that we know how Lai can phase through the memories and the names that he's eaten and talk from the perspective of, let's say, Rem. When he's talking about Subaru, sounds just like Rem, right? Or when Roy is talking to Julius and says, my dear older brother, right? Clearly talking from the perspective of Joshua. So when Lai's talking about the whole merchant shit, I can only imagine that he's also talking from the perspective of someone else that really hates merchant stuff. Now, is there a character that we know in the story ReZero, anime only, that fits this description? Who fucking hates merchants like that? I don't know. Maybe it's like some character from a long time ago that we haven't met yet, but is in a light novel side story or some shit. Or maybe it just doesn't matter.
A merchant, this idea of someone putting money on people's lives, the idea that everything has value, not sort of doing things because they're good. It's just mainly that merchants are selfish and they only look out for themselves, which is quite interesting because it tells you a bit about Lai's character. Now, in reality,
is that really his character though? It could be for sure. Maybe I'm being fixated too much on the phasing through different people's memories and names. Almost makes it seem like Lai is like an empty template. Wouldn't that be kind of... Wouldn't that be very fitting to gluttony, the theme? This insatiable hunger. Constantly consuming and consuming, but still being nothing and feeling this void. The fact that he has no actual personality or traits, but because he consumes other people's names and memories, he can now act on behalf of those memories.
In reality, we haven't got anything about Lai's backstory, but this is the sort of reason why there's a theory that Lai was actually a sort of slave, a sort of debt slave that belonged to a sort of merchant. So a lot of people have sort of discussed that when it comes to...
I could see that. I mean, this is the isekai story, and Lai is, like I'm assuming he's a demi-human. Maybe he's not. I'm just assuming that because of his teeth. Because there's like a emphasis based on Garfield's teeth multiple times, with Frederica's teeth too in season 2, about how, hey, demi-human. And you know how demi-human slavery is so common in isekai, but he could just straight up just... I don't know what the hell he is. Bro looks like he's from Made in Abyss.
Lai's backstory. It's very easy to see the Sin Archbishops as horrible people, and that's how the author of ReZero does sort of describe them, because they are horrible people, but it's interesting that maybe their situations has sort of warped them into why horrible they people. Are the way they are. And
yeah, just look at Betelgeuse, right? Just look at Betelgeuse and how he used to be and how he is now in season 1, right? Every one of them, I'm sure, has a valid reason for crashing out like that.
We do know that witch factors can do that. I mean, look at the Witch of Envy. We know that Satella is a nice person, but...
That's right, the incompatibility part of making you just go insane.
She's all deranged and crazy because the witch factor she took in made her essentially crazy. The main thing that also happens with Julius and Ricardo is that they meet Roy Alvard, and the most interesting thing here is the fact that when Julius uses his Al-Closeria attack, that Roy Alvard calls Julius
older brother,
which is of course foreshadowing, but
Joshua.
It's really important to show you why ReZero is such an amazing show, because there's so much foreshadowing. And
I'm so glad that I was just hanging on to that loose thread of Joshua and the letter the entire time. No one's mentioning him. Letters are always bad in ReZero. Why does nobody talk about him? And there it is. Most likely still alive, potentially could be dead, but has there been any character that we've seen so far that's name and memory has been eaten by gluttony, but are actually dead? Not really, right? Not really at all. So, no one even knows due to bad subs? That's hilarious. So that's the subs that was fucked up, huh? Crunchyroll fucked up the subs for this specific part? That's hilarious, bro. Thank God. Shoutouts to FLE again. We got a community member that actually added in the subs in it for us so that we knew exactly what was going to happen after this.
It's really easy to miss it. Of course, the ending is a cliffhanger with Capella appearing in front of Felix and Krush. And remember, Krush is out of action and Felix is not a fighter. And this is, of course, a Sin Archbishop. But by the way, this just shows you that Capella is not a dumb person. Capella is actually very, very smart. You have Beetlejuice, you have Sirius, you have Regulus. All of these people are not really intelligent. They act on emotions. But Capella is actually someone that will think things through. If this situation is advantageous to her, she will jump in and she.
Did the gospel tell her to do this though? I'm not too sure about it. Did the gospel tell her to do this and plan this shit out? Or is she just like a genius lolly where we assume that she is irrational due to her maniacal laughs and voice acting? But if you look at the dialogue back in part 1, yeah, he just is Beetlejuice. He loves calling Betelgeuse Beetlejuice. It's like a community reference in its own space. But Capella does seem very intelligent, man. It's just the outward appearance in her, the way that she portrays herself, that you may think that she's an irrational being.
She will swoop. So interesting to see what happens next. Overall though, it was an amazing first episode. Of course, it's going to take some time to build up that sort of steam so we can get to true ReZero peakness. But it was an amazing episode.
It was.
I think the only criticism most people will say is that because there's so many characters in Arc 5 all fighting, having their own battles.
The constant back and forth, right? Oh, bro. Are we going to do that One Piece fighting style where you have 13 separate fights happening at once and you're going to basically progress like just a bit here, just a bit there, jumping and jumping. I mean, that's also happening in Danmachi right now, you know? It's just like Ryu's popping off versus someone else, and we skip to Bell, and we go back to Ryu, and it's just like, what the hell, bro? I hate that shit. I wanted to focus on one fight at a time. Yes, Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 did an amazing job at that. They spend the appropriate time in each fight to give us like a satisfactory scene, and then we'll skip to somewhere else. But like, goddamn, bro, it's just, I hope that they don't just fucking skip, and it just ruins any flow.
That is going to keep switching between them, and as a result, there's going to be episodes.
Yeah, the payoff at the very end, right, is that the fact that at the very end, you just get peak payoff. Like all the cuts you get, now you'll have like 10 successions of different peaks happening, and boom, this fight ends, boom, this fight ends. But I don't think that really justifies everything that led up to that point. I would prefer to have steady flow state for each fight to have its own conclusion and then go out to something else rather than cut, and then boom, we get everyone at the same time.
Where it doesn't feel like you're making much progress, because in this episode, most people were just meeting their opponents and starting the fight. There wasn't really any meat and potatoes to, you know, there's no climax, there's no nothing. It's just.
I think it is better to do the cuts like this when you're introducing the matchups. But future episodes, I hope they focus on one fight. Like an episode is dedicated to 1 or 2 fights at max. Resolve that shit. The next episode turns to the other matchups and goes like that.
You know, Wilhelm meets Teresia, Roy meets Julius, Subaru meets Regulus. There's no real definitive conclusion. So, of course, I do feel like some people will nitpick that and call it bad, but it looks amazing. The animation's amazing, the music's amazing, the art's amazing, the filters are amazing, and again, the nuance of ReZero is still there. So that is my first episode sort of reaction and review and analysis. So again, if you like ReZero, like and subscribe.
There it is. Please go check out Jake's video. ReZero content creator. If you care about ReZero stuff, he's got a treasure trove of content. Now, a lot of them are, you know, light novel spoilers and stuff like that. So be careful with anime only content. See you next time. There's a link. Go to it.